How we doing today, guys? Today is Monday, June 12th. Just got done with the 9th annual Sheboygan Salmon Cup. Congratulations to Grandpa Six from Two Rivers, who completed the repeat back-to-back Sheboygan Salmon Cup champions. Those guys did a great job and again proved that Port of Sheboygan tends to hold big king salmon. They boated 87 pounds for 5 fish on day 2 and 70 pounds for 5 fish on day 1 for a blowout victory. And conditions were pretty poor. I mean, it was bumpy both days. Fishing had been really tough going into the tournament. A lot of boats had not even caught a king salmon during the week, or maybe one. So the fish did seem to wake up a little bit Thursday, Friday. I marked a lot of fish in between 85 and 100 foot of water, most of which I thought and kind of knew were king salmon, but they just hadn't been feeding. I think the main reason is that there's a lot of bait there, tons and tons of schools of bait, so the kings just really don't have to bite our lures. You know, they can sit right there and eat alewives all day long, and only the real curious ones that want to chase a flasher fly around or a meat rig or a spoon are the ones that are getting caught. But the good news is I think the bait fish will start to spread out now here in the next week or two, and if those kings hang around, I think fishing's going to increasingly get better, and the fish are really big. There was, again, I don't even know what the total was, but I think somewhere around 4, maybe 5 20-pound kings caught this weekend in the tournament. There's a tournament up in Kewanee this weekend, the Blue Door Challenge. If you don't have anything going on, I think it's a one-day tournament on Saturday. That sounds like it could be a lot of fun. Hopefully the weather's great for those guys. Just want to give you a little update on what was working and what's going on. We'll start with the coho bite. Coho bite at Sheboygan remains pretty strong. Charter boats and fun fishermen who are heading out are still picking up double-digit catches of cohos pretty regularly. The fish have just moved out a little bit. Now they're catching them between 140 and all the way out to 250 feet of water. But 140 to 180 seems to kind of be the area right now. Still the same stuff, peanut flies with gold in it, aqua gold, blue-green gold, green gold, purple-green gold seem to be dominating the spread. Some guys are doing real well on the regular orange dodger, some guys are doing well on the Dreamweaver coho dodger, which is what's kind of been the best for me. But I also heard the spin doctors have really picked up. Guys are doing real well on the 6-inch mini spin doctors in orange. They have been doing pretty well on them all spring, but it sounds like the last week or so, guys really said those were standing out. So if you want to fill your cooler or your freezer up with a few more cohos, looks like we're going to have an opportunity here for a little bit yet in that 140 to 180 foot of water range. Those are still all mostly being picked up in the top 25 foot of the water column. As far as kings go, as I said this weekend, there was, it was pretty picky bite. There was really only 2, or so fantastic catches of king. Well, 3, 2 boats. Grandpa Six had 2 good catches 2 days in a row, and then Line Tension, who's one of my good buddies, had a great catch on day 2 of 80 pounds or 81 pounds, something like that. They had 2 20-pounders in their cooler on day 2. Both of which those guys were fishing in the same general area as I was, to the north of Sheboygan, up by the golf course area in that 85 to 100 foot of water range, and it seemed like the fish were really picky this weekend, at least for myself and for Line Tension. I can't speak for Grandpa Six, but they didn't seem to want a lot of different stuff. Seemed like you'd catch a few kings on the same baits. So the baits that are really working this weekend, from what I gathered between my boat, the Line Tension boat, and a little bit I heard from some other boats, were the Michigan Stinger UV Kryptonite flasher. That one took 2 20-pounders for Line Tension, and was definitely a hot bait for multiple boats that caught a few kings. Also, I did real well on the RGV Blue Chin Music. I caught a couple 4-year-olds on that over the weekend and did pretty well on that during the week as well. So, that RGV series by Pro King has that UV tape over all the finishes. If you don't have, a few in your spread, you should get them, because if you didn't notice, that's what's on the kryptonite as well. It's a, you know, a taped flasher with that UV over it. That really seems to be starting to be a dominant producer in multiple different patterns. Has been for a couple seasons. So if you don't have, you know, 3, 4, 5 different colors in that RGV series of the Pro King flashers, probably want to get some of those off of our website, www.anglersavenueproshop.com. Also, I heard Chrome Black Eyed Peas was pretty good. You know, that's been a staple here for a couple of years by Michigan Stinger. Our new Lance's Two-Face. I know that took a 20-pounder for a boat and caught some other fish for some guys. Seems like that was a great bait just to get some bites. I heard some Lakers came on that, some cohos, big rainbow, you know, a couple big kings. So those definitely have been good. And then the one I forgot to grab was the Michigan Stinger UV Mercy. That was definitely our hottest flasher during the week and during the weekend. We didn't do super well. We took third, but you know, it was the one that seemed to get us at least a 4-year-old or 2 a day. So, and then that RGV Blue Chin Music kicked in and helped on that as well. So, fly-wise, it was the Illumination UV for us. I know it was the Illumination UV for line tension as well. You know, the Salmon Candy Illumination UV seemed to really be the one for our 2 boats, but I'm sure it was a mix of flies, as everybody's got their favorites when it comes to that. I want to talk about flasher fly fishing for just a minute, because we're getting into that season, and during all my seminars I kind of preach the same thing, and I think it's a pretty important thing to work on. So if you guys aren't doing this now, you might want to give it a try if you don't feel your flasher fly program is real strong. One of the things I believe pretty strongly in is that you should keep all your leaders from your flasher to your fly the same length. I like to use 24-inch leaders behind these standard 8-inch flashers, so 24 inches from the flasher to the fly. And the reason I like to keep them the same is then I can adjust my speed to get the action of the fly I want. The problem is if you tie up a bunch of different leaders, one day the fish might really prefer 22 inches, the next day it might seem to be 26, the next day it might be 24, and I think what you end up doing is cutting up a bunch of fluorocarbon and spending a lot of time retying. And I'd love to sell you as much fluorocarbon as you want to buy, but unfortunately I don't think it's a real productive strategy for you. So, you know, keep your leaders all the same if you choose 22, 24, 26, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, but then use your throttles, adjust your speed to get the action you want on the fly. And I think that's one tip that should really help you and help you put some more fish in the boat. It's flasher fly time. The kings are here. They're still a little stubborn with all this bait around, but they're gonna, you know, it's gonna start to open up here, I think, pretty soon. The cohos are biting. There's big steelhead being caught on the flasher flies, so get some flasher flies into the spread and get ready to catch yourself some big kings. If you need anything, you can call the store at 920-395-2079. Otherwise, go ahead and on our website, www.anglersavenueproshop.com, and pick up any of these products that I showed you today, or a bunch more. Have a great day and week.